What's going on, everybody? This is Kaleb, your favorite Kung Fu fanatic. Welcome back to the spin-off YouTube channel for Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema, my bi-weekly podcast where I cover all of your favorite Kung Fu films. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Thanks for finding me. I would very much appreciate it if you like, subscribe, all that good stuff, leave comments. We got another Blu-ray review for you guys today, and we are going to be discussing one of my favorite Blu-ray releases. Sorry, one of my favorite Blu-ray releases. The Police Story set from the Criterion Collection. Hell yes. Police Story is one of my favorite Jackie Chan films. And from what I understand, it's one of Jackie himself, like one of his favorite films as well. Yes, this was released from the Criterion Collection, as you can see right there on the spine. It was released in, I forget when, 2019. It was released in 2019. I actually did not get this until 2020 though. But this is I found out this existed shortly after I got my Bruce Lee, his greatest hits set from the Criterion Collection as well. When I got that, I found out this also existed, so I went ahead and got this because, like I said, I love Police Story. It's one of my favorite Jackie Chan films. But like with my other Blu-ray reviews, sorry, I'll show this off to you guys. I'll show you the discs and all that cool stuff and talk about the special features and just overall what I think of the release. Is it worth buying, that sort of thing. But yeah, so starting off, we got wonderful artwork. I'm not sure who this is by, but this is a shot of Jackie from the very first Police Story, and you can see there's broken glass all around, and that was a pretty notable thing with the final action sequence of the first Police Story. There's just glass breaking all over the place, and I've even seen videos where the first video I ever saw was from the Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society. Shout out to them. That YouTube channel posted a video of like the mall sequence at the end of the first Police Story, except it's just all the moments where glass broke. and there was a lot. But I'll take the sleeve off for you guys, and then this is some artwork of the first film, a truly iconic moment of Jackie hanging from the double-decker bus during the opening action sequence. And then when you flip it around, this is some artwork from the final action sequence of Police Story 2. And then when we fold it open, we have just another piece of art that looks just like the slip case. And then we have both discs, Police Story 1 and 2 right there. So yeah, this is only the first two Police Story films, which I thought was interesting. But I guess considering that this is just my take on it, I think the Police Story 1 and 2, I actually love all the Police Story films, or the ones I've seen at least. The only Police Story film I have not seen is Police Story 2013, which obviously was released in 2013. In the States, we know it as Police Story Lockdown. But I thought it was interesting that they only had Police Story 1 and 2 in this set. And that's not to say they won't release other Police Story films in this type of condition, because they very well might. I don't know if it would be from the Criterion Collection or maybe Warner Archives or something like that. But I just thought it was interesting. But my take on it is that Police Story 1 and 2 were probably the only two films that are like directly connected, because 2 is a direct sequel to the first film. It takes place, I'm forgetting how long, but not long after the first film. The main villain from the first film, who is played by Choi Yoon, rest in peace, he appears in the second film playing that same character. But there's a new threat in town and stuff like that. But I think that was probably the reason why they released the first two films like that. But I really do hope in the future that we get like a remaster of like Super Cop and First Strike and stuff like that. We probably wouldn't get remasters of Police Story Lockdown or New Police Story. New Police Story is an excellent film as well. But we probably wouldn't get Blu-ray remasters, sorry, of those two, because those films are very recent, and the quality of those is already pretty good. But I definitely like a remaster of Super Cop. And First Strike actually has a Blu-ray as well, which is it's a pretty standard Blu-ray, but it does have one. And Super Cop does as well. But I know in the Hong Kong cinema circles, Super Cop is a film that everybody wants to see, like, get a new Blu-ray. And Warner Archives has already done Blu-ray remasters or releases, whatever you want to call it, of Mr. Nice Guy and Drunken Master 2, two very classic Jackie Chan films. But yeah, we'll see. Only time will tell. So anyway, back to the Police Story Criterion set. I'll leave a link in the description, by the way, for this box set. It's not really a box, but it's a double feature. But yeah, I'll leave a link for this set for you guys in the description, and if you guys want to check it out, you can. I believe on the Criterion website, it's probably about $35, like between $33 and $35. But yeah, I'll walk you guys through the special features and what exactly they have on this set, and then I'll just talk about how it looks with the special, like how good they are in the special feature department, stuff like that. Oh, and by the way, the set also comes with a poster, which is that one right behind me with Jackie on the motorcycle. On the back, or the flip side of that, there's an essay by by Nick Pinkerton. So yeah, there's an essay about the Police Story films on the back of that poster. But me being me, I had to put it up on my wall. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, for the special features, it's new 4K digital restorations of Police Story and Police Story 2 with uncompressed monaural soundtracks, alternate 5.1 surround soundtracks presented, and DTS HD master audio, alternate English dub soundtracks, alternate version of Police Story 2 presented in a 2K digital transfer for the first time from a subtitled 35mm Hong Kong release print. Side note, there's also a Japanese version of Police Story 2 that I haven't seen, and I actually did not know that existed until a couple of months ago. A very kind guy in the Hong Kong cinema group that I'm in on Facebook. He told me about it, and there was even I believe Will from the Hong Kong Cinema Appreciation Society, of course. I believe it was Will who sent me a link to this website. It breaks down all the literally every single different aspect of the film. I can't remember the name of the website, but yeah, he sent me a link, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff in the Japanese version of Police Story 2. There's a lot of extra features that you don't see in the Hong Kong version, of course. But anyway, yeah, getting back to the special features, we have a new interview with filmmaker Edgar Wright, which everybody knows Edgar Wright. He is a very big fan of Jackie Chan, and the interview with him talking about Jackie and how much of an impact Jackie had on him as a person and as a filmmaker, it's a very, very good interview. We also have a 2017 podcast conversation between Wright and Jackie Chan, which is really, really interesting. It's about an hour long, I think, but it could be a little less than that. I'm not quite sure. It's been a minute since I listened to it, but there is there's a podcast conversation with Edgar and Jackie, and Jackie talks about his career, talks about all the films that he had made up like past Police Story and up to Police Story. Talks about his upbringing and in the Peking Opera School and stuff like that. And something really interesting that Jackie had talked about. I don't want to go off track, but I just thought this was really interesting. In the podcast conversation he has with Edgar Wright, Jackie mentions that before he did the Rush Hour films, like the very first Rush Hour in '98, before he did that film, he was fixing to retire. Like he had said that he felt that he had done enough and he had accomplished enough and he didn't really need to do anymore. But he got the offer to do Rush Hour, and he went ahead and did it. And then after Rush Hour, of course, was released in the States, it was insanely popular, and Jackie's popularity skyrocketed in the States, and so he decided, okay, I guess I'm not gonna retire. I'm gonna keep doing some other films, and that led to like films like the Shanghai films, Shanghai Noon and Nights, respectively, the Tuxedo, the Medallion, which are horrible films, but that's neither here or there. But anyway, after that, he said he went back home, and found out that he was even bigger in mainland China, because obviously he's from Hong Kong, but he went back to Hong Kong and found out that he was very, very popular in mainland China as well, and then he started working there as well. So it's just kind of interesting to hear that he was going to retire, but then his popularity just kept going up, and he decided to just keep working. So yeah, it's a great conversation though. Definitely check that out. But moving on, we have new programs on Chan's screen persona and action filmmaking techniques featuring author and New York Asian Film Festival co-founder Grady Hendrix. Those are both very interesting as well. On the first disc, which is Police Story 1, he talks about, Grady Hendrix talks about just how Jackie Chan was as an actor, what kind of characters he played and stuff like that, and how he was so special and different from other action film stars. And then on disc 2, which is Police Story 2, he talks about the very unique way that Jackie does action sequences. And then moving on, we have an episode of Some of the Incredibly Strange Film Show from 1989 featuring interviews with Jackie Chan and actor Maggie Cheung. Maggie Cheung played Jackie's girlfriend, May, in Police Story 1, 2, and 3. And she was great. She's a fantastic, beautiful, wonderful actress. And she does a very good job in Police Story. Like, some of the funniest scenes involve her in the first Police Story. But yeah, that's a very interesting interview as well. And then we have archival interviews with Chan and actor, with Jackie Chan and actor and stuntman Benny Lai. Benny Lai is one of the villains in Police Story 2. Jackie has an excellent fight scene with him towards the end. Benny Lai has some really awesome kicks, and this character was deaf, I believe. He was either deaf or mute. I want to say he was deaf, but he didn't. But yeah, obviously he didn't speak, didn't hear. But yeah, him and Jackie had an excellent fight scene at the end of Police Story 2. And then we have excerpts from Jackie Chan My Stunts, a 1999 documentary co-directed by and starring Jackie Chan. The Jackie Chan My Stunts feature on here is excellent. I remember seeing it on TV a really long time ago. I might have been 10, maybe even 11 years old, but I remember seeing it on TV, and it's just a documentary where Jackie talks about his filmmaking techniques. He talks about like how he does action, how he does weapons fights and stuff like that, and he gives a lot of demonstrations on like how to do it, or what the wrong way is. And I guess there isn't really a wrong way to do it. This is it's really just depends on who's doing the sequence, but Jackie, shows like what he likes to do and what he doesn't think works. It's a very, very interesting documentary. I watched it a few weeks ago, and yeah, it's very interesting. It's a really, really good watch. I'm glad they added that on here. And then we have excerpt from a 2017 television program reuniting Chan with the original members of the Jackie Chan stunt team, which that's great too. It's a very touching moment. Jackie reunites with his original stunt team after not seeing them for decades, and it's very emotional, but it's also very happy to see Jackie, just kind of like reuniting with them and just being happy and just like reminiscing with them. And and of course they at the end of the excerpt they sing the song from Police Story, which I believe is called The Hero Story. That's the name of the song. But yeah, that's a really great feature as well. I've seen that a couple of times. It's a very special thing to see. And then we have a television program from a 1964 French TV show. I can't remember what it was called, and I don't speak French, but it's from a French TV show detailing the rigors of Beijing opera training, akin to the education that Chan received as a child. Yeah, I probably said Peking Opera School. I'm sorry, but actually, I'm not sure. Did Jackie go to the Peking Opera School? I don't know. Leave in the comments if you guys know if he went to Peking or Beijing. Leave in the comments, because I'm like drawing a blank now. I'm very sorry about that, But anyway, it has a Chan stunt reel, which is great. Everybody loves to see like outtakes of Jackie doing stunts, or just doing something really funny and just messing up or something like that. But you also see a lot of really crazy things where he got hurt. Everybody knows that Jackie's broken pretty much every single bone there is to break, and it's also interesting to see, just like the injuries and stuff like that. But we then, rounding it out, we have trailers, New English subtitle translations, and then the essay from Nick Pinkerton, which is, again, that poster back there. But yeah, that's it for the special features. And they're all fantastic. It has a lot of really great information, a lot of great interviews, and you learn a lot about Jackie as a person and learn about Jackie as a filmmaker and as an actor. And it's they really couldn't have done it better here. Other than, you know, maybe other than, and this isn't a dig, but other than, you know, maybe throwing Super Cop in there. But again, that's not to say it won't happen. It probably will. We'll see. But yeah, I think this is an excellent release, and it's a must-have for Jackie Chan fans out there. Police Story has been remastered and re-released already from, I believe, from Eureka Entertainment, but that's Region B. If any of you guys out there live in Region A, the States, this is Region A, and it's an excellent presentation of both films. So yeah, if you guys live in Region A and you don't have the Police Story films, or you don't have the first two at least, if you don't have them and you don't have like region free capabilities, you don't have the Eureka Blu-ray, get this because it's excellent. And yeah, it's just got a ton of information, a ton of really great special features and stuff like that. You learn a lot. Like I said, you learn a lot about Jackie as a person and as a filmmaker. But yeah, I highly recommend the Jackie Chan Police Story 1 and 2 set from the Criterion Collection. Again, I'll leave a link in the description, and it's Region A, so if you guys live in the States, you can get it, and you can watch it on your regular retail Blu-ray or PlayStation 4, Xbox, whatever you got. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell to stay notified, all that good regular YouTube stuff that we all like to say. Episode 40 of my podcast, Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema, is finally here. The big 40. It's not here quite just yet. It's actually going to be out next Saturday, April 30th. And we are going to be talking about my favorite Jet Li film, Fearless, which was released in 2006. And it's going to be a very interesting episode for me, at least, because my wife has never seen Fearless, you know, so she's gonna be seeing that film for the first time, and we'll see what she thinks about it. My good friend Kid Kong himself, Chris, is going to be here, and I don't know how he feels about Fearless. He has seen it. I believe he likes it, but we'll find out. I'll get to pick his brain a little bit. And Fearless has always been a very interesting movie to me. Like I said, it's my favorite Jet Li movie. But I feel like it's a movie that nobody really talks about when it comes to Jet Li's best films. And so I spent quite a while thinking that it was a crime to like Fearless. I don't really know. but yeah. We're going to talk about that film on April 30th, and that's going to be episode 40 of my podcast, Big 40. We're over the hill, just about. But yeah, and I'll also leave a link in the description to my podcast, to my Patreon as well. Don't forget, we have a Patreon now. Tier starting at $3 a month. You can get things like exclusive live streams, early access to videos just like this one. And if you subscribe to the $7 Grandmaster tier, you'll get a shout out on my podcast, Kaleb's Kung Fu Cinema. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.